So we are here with Maximilian Müller, who made top 64 to 250s YCS in London. He played the Kashtira deck, arguably the most represented deck and one of the best decks of the format. So he's going to show us his bit. Any shoutouts, or do you want to do them at the end?
Shoutouts to my team, Team Azreal. Shoutouts to Tilo, who couldn't come unfortunately, and also shoutouts to Federico Sivizia. Yeah. So I just go straight up to the Deckprofile.
Just let us get into it.
For starters, I played 3 Pressure Planet together with the Terraforming, and since we thought we needed more consistency, we also played the set rotation. Then the best names, 3 Unicorn, 3 Fenrir, and for consistency we also played the 3 Prosperity. For the extenders to Rise Hard, we considered playing only 1, but we thought that we needed the second one in the grind game, so we played 2. Then the Reichphobia for the set rotation, and the Scarecrow Kashtira to search with the Reichphobia.
Did you like the package? Was the feed spell good, or did you draw out a lot and you thought it would be bad?
Yeah, the feed spell was pretty good, especially in the runic matchups. I had multiple scenarios where I popped floodgates like the ancient organism with the Reichphobia, and then I was able to play. Then for the other Kashtira spells, 3 Theosis, we thought we needed 3 and not only 2, because we expected a lot of runic matchups, and this card performs very well in the runic matchup if it gets banished. And then 3 Birth, because it's the best extender in the deck. And engine requirements, 1 Ogre, 1 Big Bang, and the Preparation. For non-engine, we played 3 Ash, because it was the most generic hand trap and also pretty good against the Despia deck. Then 3 Impermanence, also very good against all matchups. Then we also played the 3 Nibiru main deck, because we expected a lot of Kashtira players to not respect this card at all and play into it, so we would have an advantage in the mirror.
Did you respect it yourself, or did you play around it all day?
I didn't respect Nip at all in the first game. I also went for the lock 5 combo if I had it. Yeah, but then game 2 and 3 I respected it.
So did you get nipped or not at all?
I only got nipped once in the whole event.
So yeah.
And then for the last cards, we played 2 Cosmic Cyclone and 2 lands. These were mostly for the Runic and the Labyrinth matchup, but the Cosmic was also pretty good in the Kashtira matchup to hit the Birth or the Preparation to avoid the follow-up of the other Kashtira players. Then for the extra deck, we played triple Rise Hard. Some people play 2, but I think 3 is needed, because this comes up a lot, that you go through 1 in your normal combo, and then you can, if you start with Prosperity, this is normally a card you bench face down, and then you have a second Rise Hard for the late game. I also had some scenarios where I went on the double Rise Hard end board, so I had the last Rise Hard in the extra deck for the turns after that. Then the 2 Shangri-Ira, you needed to zone lock your opponent. 2 Big Eye, we thought we needed 2 Big Eyes, since the Kashtira players would also hit the Big Eye. If we only play 1, it's the weak spot in the extra deck, and this card really helps on a matchup to steal opponents' Rise Hearts, or in general their Kashtira monsters, and then you are able to play by yourself. Then the 2 Zeus.
Would the third one ever have come up? Because some players said they would need the third one.
I never needed a third Zeus. I think I had multiple scenarios where I just banished the second Zeus of the Prosperity, and even then I never missed the second one.
Okay, so you wouldn't change that?
Yeah, I wouldn't change that. And then 1 Diablosis you needed for the lock 5 combo, and you also have some scenarios where you just go for Diablosis and Rise Hard just to look at their extra deck and make an Rise Hard turn 1. and then the Dark Arm Dragon of Annihilation, just to out cards, and it can also get you follow-up if you have a Theosis in the graveyard, and then you banish it and add bacon card. Then we played one Donna for hire. This card was very important, especially since we played the Nibiru in the main deck. I had some scenarios where I had to normal summon an Ash and then link into this one and free my main monster zones to then play with my Kashtira monsters. And then for the prosperity targets, we played one Goliath, one Skull Wagon, and one Skull Knight. Goliath was pretty good, especially because there were a lot of runic players and they couldn't out the Rise Heart if I had this attached, because they needed the two spells, the Flashing Fire and the Freezing Curses. And these two were also pretty good against basically all matchups, because in the Kashtira matchup you can just out their Birth or their Preparation with this as follow-up if they clear your board. Or if they just end on Zeus, you also have the Skull Knight to clear the Zeus to play in your own turn. Then for the side deck, we played 3 evenly matched. We considered it to play it in the main deck, but we thought that we needed hand traps and remove the board breakers into the side deck. 3 Dark Ruler to respect the Naturia end board, because if they end on Baron, Naturia Beast, then they also have the setup to go for the Camellia and Sunflower. We just pretty much lose against that, so the Dark Ruler helps us beat that end board, so we can survive a turn, if we establish a Rise Heart, the matchup becomes pretty much easier. And then the 3rd Cosmic for the Naturia and Labyrinth matchup. Then we also played 2 Jizukiro for the Kashtira matchup. We thought that we only needed the 2 Kaijus, since we already had the Nibirus in the main deck for the Kashtira matchup. And we also have the Evenlies to side against them. And we played the Jizukiro because it's the Machine Kaiju, and some Kashtira players were starting to play Rivalry, and even if they flip Rivalry in standby phase, you can just give them the Machine Kaiju to out the Rise Heart. And then the last cards were 3 Bell and 3 Shifter. Shifter is basically for all the Rogue matchups, for the Naturia matchups, and pretty much against everything except for the Cash Mirror.
Yeah, it's probably correct, because everything isn't cash, yeah.
Yeah. And the 3 Bells, especially for the Death Spear and Labyrinth matchup, because you can hit the Retribution, Explosion to not get puppet locked, and against the Labyrinth you can hit the Big Welcome.
So that's it?
That's
anything you would have changed, or was everything very good for you?
No, nothing I would change. The deck performed very well. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for the deck profile, and hope you top some more events.
Hopefully.